Have you heard of the alleged lost footage of the dancing Israelis? Dancing Israelis refers to 5 Israeli men: Sivan Kurzberg, Paul Kurzberg, Oded Elner, Yaron Shimuel, and Omar Marmari. I totally butchered all of those names. They were arrested on 9/11 of 2001 after they were reported to be acting in a celebratory manner as the attack took place in New York City.
When this woman was watching the Twin Towers burning from her apartment in New Jersey, she noticed 3 men on top of a van.
And I could see that they were like happy. You know, they didn't look shocked to me. You know, they didn't look shocked. I thought it was very strange.
The witness called police. All 5, it turns out, were Israeli. They were turned over to the FBI.
FBI investigation of the 5 men did conclude that 2 of them were connected to Mossad, but all 5 men were ultimately released.
After 71 days, the 5 Israelis were deported, leaving some ruffled feathers among both U.S. and Israeli officials.
Without charge. Of course, suspicion continued to follow the 5 men, and photos released by the FBI under the Freedom of Information Act several years after the attack further fueled suspicions that the men were connected to 9/11. During the attacks on 9/11, 5 men were reported to the police. They were reported for appearing to be reacting to the planes hitting the Twin Towers in a celebratory manner, quoted as jumping and high-fiving. The men were also linked to a company called Urban Moving Systems. Okay, so it turns out this business was closed down after the Israel reported, so people are assuming that that business was just a front for them to be intelligence agents over in America, and were seen near a white van. The 5 men were detained later that day, and police found, quote, maps of the city with certain plans, highlighted box cutters, $4,700 of cash stuffed in a sock, and foreign passports. Bomb-sniffing dogs were brought to the FBI and discovered that 2 of the men, Sivan Kurzberg and Paul Kurzberg, were Mossad. The 5 men were ultimately released without charge and argued their behavior was simply immature behavior. A video of these men doing that is lost. Whoa, I just found a court document, and it says the 5 men that were arrested for celebrating, they sued a whole bunch of people. 5 Israeli nationals who were illegally present in the United States on September 11th, 2001. Yeah, these 5 men were arrested. It was documented that they were arrested. Then they were released, charges dropped, and they were sent back to Israel. And then nobody knows what happened. Although, later in Israel, 3 of the men agreed to be interviewed on an Israeli TV show.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad. The fact of the matter is, we are coming from a country that experiences terror daily. Our purpose